Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Devin Thomas, back with another episode of Unscripted. This is episode number 20. We made it, folks. It's kind of a milestone because, when you set out to start a podcast, and I know a lot of people do it, sometimes you make 1, 2, 3, then 3 months go by and you don't fucking make another one, and then you just never, come back to it. And I always wanted to make a podcast, and when I started this, I said, you know what, I'm going to fucking do one every week. And I've tried to be consistent. I think I've been pretty good. I did take about a month off, but besides the point, just, being consistent with anything is good. And I kind of said this from the beginning, I really want to just try and get to 100 episodes, because I feel like when I get to that milestone, I'll really know what the fuck Unscripted is. And I think it's kind of taken its own form naturally. But I'll also, be able to, you reap what you sow. I'm planting the seeds for, I think, something bigger. That's kind of my vision for this thing. I mean, I've never really fucking delved into this element of it. But just if you are a listener, why is he doing this? Why does Devin feel inclined to make this podcast? I just love the medium. I love talking. I love talking to people, which I will start incorporating people onto this to talk to, interview, or what have you. But yeah, I just, I've always loved the medium of podcasting. It's funny because when I first heard a podcast, I heard it from Kevin Smith, the film director, and I was really on it young, and he was the only person I really knew. There was people making podcasts, not in the same fucking way people are doing it today. Today it's been commercialized and commoditized, which is really good for the medium. I needed that. But I mean, Kevin Smith used to just pop these out, and it was just crazy hearing a director, let alone a filmmaker, who was somebody of significant fame at the time and still is, talk about the craft from such an honest point of view and such an inside baseball point of view. He's talking about making deals and doing this and that, working with whoever the fuck. And it's just I can't believe somebody's just, so generous with their knowledge and so honest about the film business. And regardless of what you think of his films, if you're interested in filmmaking at all, he's somebody that you should just listen to, because every time you hear his podcast, you walk away inspired. But not only that, you also get, you get to know somebody who's had a lot of success with inside the Hollywood system, and we'll talk about that later. I'd even call it the old Hollywood system, who's just, continued to make a name for themselves outside of just making films, which is cool. And I don't know, podcasting's a place where you get to just talk about whatever you want. It can be whatever you want it to be. I don't know. It's a very freeing medium. So on that note, I just, this is episode 20. I'm really proud to have made it this far into the podcast, and also just, I love it. Anyways, yeah, this past week, as I always discuss, I've been busy, chilled out. It's summertime. The vibes in California are good. I actually just found myself writing a lot this past week. You get ideas all the time. Sometimes it's a flash in the pan, and you're like, hey, do I even think this one's something I should capitalize on? Or you get an idea, and you're like, this is a really big idea. Do I need to let this thing kind of marinate for a minute before I throw it on the fucking grill and, cook up a great script? Right now, I've just been having kind of these I wouldn't even call it a flash in the pan, but just kind of a spur of the moment. I'm like, that's a good idea. Why don't I just fucking write it? Why even hesitate to put this, pen to paper, I'd say, but honestly, just fingers to the keyboard and just start fucking clacking. Cause that's really what I've done is I've just said, fuck it, when I have an idea, and that's usually how it goes. But I'm just saying lately, this past week specifically, I was like, fuck it. You know what? I don't even care if this is the worst thing I've ever written. And they never come out bad. That's the best part. There's less scripts I've tried to start and not finish than ones that I just start. I'm like, I already like this. So, and pretty quick when something's going to be good or bad. But besides the point, yeah, this week I was just really having these kind of not even hot take ideas, but I was just you know what? I just I've always wanted that idea to be just out on paper. So I've been hitting the road with that. Ironically, this last one was a road movie. So I kind of wrote I won't spoil it, but in the likes of Breakdown, Little Texas Chainsaw. Yeah, a few elements of other things. Maybe Wrong Turn in there, without spoiling what it's about or the plot. But yeah, I've just been watching so much horror, and I guess it's just, maybe it's a natural inclination. If I can write anything, it's romance or horror without really fucking having to do too much other than apply myself. So that's been really nice. And I think I just am at a point where I really understand plot beats and narrative and all that, good writing stuff, structure, it's kind of ingrained in me at this point because I've written so much stuff over the past 15 years. It's become just second nature to some extent. So it's been really nice to just be able to sit down and write something and not take it I'm not saying take it too serious, but I'm you know what? Let's just have fun with this one. If it comes out good, it comes out good. And like I said, almost, and that's one thing, if you're a young writer and you're like, I just don't want it to be not good. Like if you're fucking George McFly and you're like, I just don't know if I could take that kind of rejection. It's like, yeah, fuck it, man. Yeah, you're going to write bad shit when you start, or you're going to write something that you never make or you never finish, or you're like, hey, I got like 50 pages into this and this is a fucking, like, this is a mess. This is just a ship without a sail. That happens. I've had a few scripts like that. I'm not saying like everything I write, I'm just like, it's just so fucking perfect. You strike out every now and then, but besides the point, you get back up on the fucking horse and you keep on trudging, and that's exactly, that's just the fucking nature of the beast. Like if you ever are feeling like, oh, just like maybe this isn't for me, like, yeah, you could be a shitty writer. That is a fucking option. But like, if you believe you're good and you've had validation to some extent, like you know if you know. And when you're practicing this craft, it's like, I've heard this quote many times and I've tried to express this to other people, but like screenwriting can be learned, but it can't be taught. And I think it sounds ridiculous, but it really is just saying like, hey, like if you don't try to learn how to do it, it's going to be very difficult for you to even fucking feel like you can. Like you have to teach yourself through the failure of screenwriting and maybe writing something bad or what have you. But yeah, and if you are a young writer and you're thinking of like, how could I get started? Like just try and rewrite a scene or, write something off of memory, like, shit like that. Like you don't need to stress yourself out trying to be the most original person. And it's good to be original. Bring your own fucking voice, bring your own flavor, your own taste, which like, even if you were copying something almost exactly, you would probably get a result in the end that is nothing like that, which is, I remember Tarantino saying he was going to like community college for acting school. Or acting classes rather. And while he was there, they said, you need to bring in like a monologue or something. And he said, it was the night before. And I was like, fuck it. I think I'm just going to write something. Cause he's like, I really like this writer, Patty Chayefsky. And if you don't know him, he wrote Network, great fucking film. Must see if you're a screenwriter and just in general, I watched it recently. It's so fucking timeless. It has to do with like just the media in general, the masses' perception of what the media is feeding them, it's just incredible. It's a timeless film. It's almost like a Taxi Driver. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Tarantino was saying how he kind of pulled from Patty Chayefsky and some of his work. And when he went to class, like literally the teacher said like, hey, like this could have been written by this fucking Patty guy. And he's like, oh, really? And it's like, it even took him just putting it out there and being like, you know what? I want to write my own original shit for this class. Even though he's trying to write something off of memory and it ended up coming out original. The teacher was even like, this is like, I get the influence, but it's your voice. It's something different than what other people are bringing to the table. And, I'm sure that was he's mentioned this story. So that must have been a fucking light bulb moment for even Tarantino. He's like, well, I can write. Well, I want to be an actor, but maybe I love movies so much. Maybe I could write them. And then, maybe I could just be the one who makes them. People are probably like, dude, like, why don't you just do it? And I think that was eventually what happened for him. But yeah, I think when you're writing and you're young, you definitely get caught up on like little things of like, I wouldn't even say other people's opinion, but making sure it's good. Because it's a hard thing to share a script, too, when you're first starting out, especially. You're like, you're going to be a little insecure. I think everybody is, and if you're saying you're not and you're so confident you're this fucking prodigy who's written the greatest script ever, then you've got fucking either a great script or you're delusional, because that's just not how it works. But anyways, if anyone's listening, and I'm assuming like at this point, just my viewership is mostly dudes, which is, it's chill, but I think that you're probably listening for like, filmmaking advice or insight on the business or independent filmmaking, just in general. And I'd like to make sure that that's something I continue to talk about on here, which is why I'm bringing up so much writing stuff, is because I was starting to reflect. I'm like, God damn, like, I used to write like a script in a month or over the course of 90 days, like not one page a day, not even 90 days. I don't think I've ever written a script over that long of a period of time, but usually a month. And now I'm like writing scripts in a couple nights, it's a work week or even less. And it's from the practicing of the craft. And the craft of screenwriting is something, like I said, you cannot be taught it. You could go to USC, you could go to UCLA, you go to Tisch. I'm not saying they're not good schools, but it's like, fuck, if you really sat down and read scripts and really loved it and really tried and really wanted to make it work, and you actually fucking practice writing. You don't just say, hey, it's Friday night, I'm going to the fucking bar, and you know what, tomorrow's Saturday night, I'm going to my buddy's house party. You sit down and you're like, you know what, I'm going to fucking nerd out and read some fucking Tarantino scripts, or pick your favorite fucking director. You can buy a hard copy of a script. You can go online and download it, whatever. Sometimes I buy them. It makes it feel more real or whatever. And it's just, I respect it. So I'm like, this is cool. I have it in my hands and I can read, and there's director's notes or even editor notes, whatever. And just fucking really just read it and take it in, not just at face value. Be like, how are they structuring this? How are they writing? Are they putting this in there? Are they putting that in there? You get so much misinformation on the internet, or people you talk to, someone that you don't need to be taking advice from is probably telling you like, well, it's not how it's done. It's like, how the fuck do you know? You're not one of these people. And at the end of the day, it's fucking words on a page. Whatever method works for you is the method that is best. Whatever gets pages done, whatever makes you feel like, hey, I got a little fucking dent into this 90 pages or however many pages your script's going to be. But, 90 seems to be where the typical movie is, and also where you usually end up plot-wise if you're going off a 3-act structure. But besides the point, just try and throw out the book. Try not to take too much advice. And I know I'm giving fucking advice right now, which, look, I take it or not, but I'm just saying you don't need to get caught up. No one really has the right answer. There are formulas that get used typically in films, and you could just watch a movie and see those pages play out on the fucking screen. Any blockbuster usually kind of falls into the same thing. I just watched Minecraft, which was a great fucking movie, by the way. I don't know if you guys got to catch Minecraft, but, I don't know anything about the game, really. I never played it, but, the movie fell into one of those hero's journey kind of plots, and it had all the, characters, the humor, the side quest kind of shit, the subplot, whatever. It all tied in. And, that's what I'm talking about when I say, like, that's more of formulaic filmmaking. It doesn't mean it's bad. It means it's just what's going to probably play out well. It's not necessarily even safe, because they've done that on big movies and they fucking have blown up the box office with just terrible numbers. Then you get a movie like Minecraft that kind of falls into that. Like, it's not even it's been done before, but you kind of have, like, the sense of familiarity. There's going to be an ability to watch it and be like, okay, I kind of get what's going on, even if you're not familiar with the source IP, which was, for me, I know what the fuck Minecraft is, but I wasn't gaming it. I'm a Halo guy, okay? So when you go and see a movie like that, especially something based on a video game, which historically video game movies do not perform well. I think even the last Tomb Raider was a one-off. The Angelina Jolie one's more exceptional. I guess they made a sequel. I remember watching both of them. They were great. But anyways, all I'm saying is if you're going to write, don't hold yourself to the expectation that it has to be the Hollywood beat sheet. Don't hold yourself to the expectation that it has to sound like someone else. Find a movie you like, find a director you like, find a writer you like, try to emulate their voice or do your voice with that in mind, I guess, and you'll probably get something similar, if not find your own voice doing that. A few writers I like I mentioned, Kevin Smith, Tarantino, obviously, he's fucking phenomenal at dialogue specifically, but even like Doug Ellen, he writes beautiful, funny fucking dialogue. If you've watched Entourage or Entourage movie, etc., he writes shit that just makes you laugh. It is so true to how people talk. And I think that's what makes people, I wouldn't even say upset, but it makes them seem, because his shit gets a little bit criticized now for being too bro or too misogynist or whatever. But I hate to say it, like, people at that time, that's how fucking people were talking. And that's also bringing a lot of truth to it. I think whatever you're writing, always try and bring like a substantial amount of truth, because you could phone it in and write some like just type dialogue, but like I think at the end of the day, like what's going to make your movie most successful is going to be having your own original voice tied into having great beats and a great story. And your story, like I said, like you don't have to follow that Hollywood beat sheet. It's not a mandatory thing. It's not something that no one's holding a gun to your fucking head and saying like, hey, make it like everything else, make it a certain way. And if someone is fucking saying that, then you know what? Maybe they're just a hack. I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to fucking ramble on that one point, but I just don't want young writers to be afraid to go and fucking write, because I feel like it's holding you back. Other people's opinions, other fucking ideas, other philosophies. Just do what you think's going to work. And you know what? You'll improve over time. You'll start to see the beats and other shit, because you're going to start writing the beats that you see in like the movies you like, the writers you like, etc., the directors you like. So that's all I'm saying. If you're a young writer, don't be afraid. I've been reflecting a lot on like when I started writing and like just where I'm at now. And I mean, fuck, I'll even, I remember in high school film studies going on scriptbuddy.com. I didn't even have Final Draft or any software. Also, if you are a writer, Final Draft, probably the only software you ever need. But besides the point, yeah, I was writing scripts on ScriptBuddy. And I remember like I couldn't even save the scripts because it was like I didn't pay for it and it was like a free site. So I would write it, probably write 10, 20 pages, and then it would delete, but I would just rewrite it because I was like, it's okay, because I really wanted it. I was really hungry. And that's another thing. Like, if you want to be doing this, like, it's not just it's a cool idea. And I'm not saying like some people aren't just like hobbyists or you're just like, hey, I like the idea of it. If you like the idea of it and you're a fan of fucking movies and shit, that's fine too. And I welcome all to come and listen and hear this shit. But if you are specifically a writer, like, it's got to be more than just a hobby. It's got to be more than just like, I think I like the idea. You got to really be about this shit. I know it sounds ridiculous, but like, you got to be about this life, son. You got to be fucking willing to sit down at the blank page and say, I'm not afraid of you, motherfucker. I'm about to fucking turn you into my next script. So that's all I'm saying. Like, get yourself fired up. Don't let other people get in your head. Especially don't let this motherfucker get in your head. I'm just trying to give out a little nugget of knowledge to people because I want other people to not be afraid to write, and I want people to feel like they can do it too. And you can if you really fucking put the time in. And that's the reality is like, yeah, I'm not here to, I sell nothing. If you want to watch my movie and rent it, great. But right now I'm not fucking pandering to anyone or pawning any shit. I'm just saying straight up, like, no one's going to make your movie for you. No one's going to write it. No one's going to help you. It's up to you to just go out there and fucking start. And that's kind of the theme of this podcast. I want to kind of move into the next thing. I have like my little fucking notes here. That's why I keep looking down. But like, anyways, I have been watching this shit about the studios in Hollywood and how I think Occidental Studios, I saw, I don't know if you guys follow producer Patrick on Instagram, but he posts like updates every week and it's just Hollywood, news. So a lot of the time I'll just watch that, and it's where I get a lot of my Hollywood news, and he's on point. He does a very good update, and I saw him saying Occidental Studios is selling for like $45 million, but they want to sell it to the right person and this and that. And I'm like, why even sell it at all if business is good? It's one of the oldest Hollywood studios. I think he said it was operating since 1913 or some shit like that. It's like, I don't know. Here's my take on Hollywood right now. I think that Hollywood's in deep fucking trouble. I think that even their big IP, they've just milked the cow, and the cow is fucking, it's dry. You've got too many remakes. You got too many versions of too many movies. You got too much Marvel. You got too much Star Wars. You got too much fucking DC. I mean, I even saw James Gunn talking today about, he's like, well, if the new fucking Superman doesn't make $700 million in the box office and, doesn't break even, that doesn't mean it's not a success. I'm like, well, I don't know. What the fuck are you guys doing this for at this point? Because wasn't there just a Superman fucking Batman movie from Snyder a few years ago? My point more so is that Hollywood's in deep fucking trouble financially. They cannot get people to buy tickets to the shit that they're selling. Ironically, I've been trying to go see fucking F1 and Jurassic, and they're fucking sold out. So, yeah, I just don't want to go in a packed theater, whatever. It's my own personal thing. But, yeah, it's a little ridiculous that, I think that's just funny that the theaters are busy despite Hollywood having problems. But I think that Hollywood's in deep trouble. I think that they've really just fucking gotten lost at sea. And they're just throwing whatever will stick at the wall. Kind of like that movie, The Studio. I mean, if you've seen it, they're doing Kool-Aid. It's like, fuck, what does a Kool-Aid movie entail? They have a great pitch. The Stoller pitch is great. But besides the point, it's dire straits for them right now. And I think the thing that's almost insulting to indie filmmakers, which it can't really be insulting because streaming has changed the game, right? You're not getting the VHS, the DVD, the fucking 90-day theatrical release, even a big movie. Like F1 was in the big theater one week, and then literally that weekend, they replaced it with Jurassic. I'm like, well, fuck, like, I didn't even get to go see it in, like, the fucking Primo Atmos or fucking MPX or whatever it is theater. They're just rushing through it to the next piece of content. Nothing feels important. Nothing has any weight. Nothing feels special. It's like, fuck, just slow your roll. Put these big 12 fucking movies each studio makes. They're 12 tent poles, not the shit they're buying or fucking subbing out. Put them out. Let them run long and theatrical. Do not put them onto fucking streaming. Let people go to the theater and have a chance to fucking see these things. Let people just go fucking enjoy themselves seeing it, not a rat race to get to the next piece of content. That's just my take on, like, release. 2, if you are selling your studio, but then you're offering to let independent filmmakers rent space to shoot their movie there, you're not making indie filmmakers feel good. There's going to be some jerk off that wants to pay to fucking rent out a studio just to feel like they're a big dog in Hollywood. I think the real indie dream is to have you, studio, pay us to come and make movie at your studio. That's the old Hollywood dream. If that shit's dead now and you guys are going to start fucking renting the space out or selling off the studios to someone else who has more money, maybe Netflix, I don't know, a big conglomerate or a fucking hedge fund, then do it. But you're doing it at the expense of killing some people's fucking dream. Some people really dreamed about getting over those gates and making a film, and some people will. But I think right now, the status quo is that legacy directors, legacy writers, and legacy actors will be able to continue making films within the studio system. If you are not one of those people, you might be one of the lucky few who have gotten picked from the new generation, if not a Nepo baby, okay? Now, on that note, who the fuck else are you going to put into a 20 or 30 or $100 million movie? Who? I honestly, it's pretty obvious. You're going to put a social media influencer into a film like that. Why not? Who's selling tickets now? Who's a movie star now? We fucking killed the movie star by making everything feel dispensable, right? The old stars are super fucking famo. The new stars, they come and they go. People don't know them like they used to. Maybe not everyone's going to the theater and it's not just this fucking mass viewership where everyone sees the same thing at the same time and gets to experience it as a community of people. I think communal watching as a whole is dead. There probably used to be one TV in a house 20 fucking years ago. Now there's probably 5. Everybody's got their own TV. Everybody's in their own space. Everybody wants to watch what they want to watch. There's no more like, hey, we all sat down and watched American Idol. We all sat down and watched fucking the new fucking TV made for movie, or the new movie that's finally playing on fucking TBS or some shit, or TNT, whatever. Remember back in the day when we had channels? Yeah. It's just different. When you go on streaming, everything's there. Even a hit movie, you might just see it and be like, yeah, it's on here, it's on there, it's on Hulu, fucking Peacock, Netflix. I can watch it on anything. It's on Tubi. I feel like we've just devalued the, not only films by having so many of them, but also so many actors and people just not getting like, it's like Brad Pitt. Why is Brad Pitt so famous? Why is Tom Cruise so famous? Yes, they're fucking great at what they do. There's no question about that. And I'm not hating on them at all. What I'm saying is, they not only made good choices about the movies they made, but they were in movies that were huge. These movies used to just be big events. And I feel like movies have really, because the theater's kind of like been on its way out to some extent. And maybe this is all rooted back to COVID. Maybe COVID, people just not going the same way and getting used to being like, you remember during COVID when they put like, I think it was the first Disney movie onto the streaming service. It was like, wow, like I can't believe Disney's even doing this. If Disney released a fucking brand new movie to streaming now, people be like, yeah, what of it? Yeah, everything's changed. Everything's fucking changed. And I guess Hollywood has just taken a turn in a different direction. And I'm not worried for Hollywood. I just think like, how do the little guys like us look at this and approach it and get our arms around this business while the business is kind of crippled? And look, I'm not trying to knock Hollywood down to its knees. I'm just saying, like, I just don't think Hollywood is looking to scour the festivals for the next indie gem. I love Kevin Smith. I love Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, all the indie guys. They're fucking, those are the people that I admire the most because you know what? They subverted expectations. Against all odds, they were able to climb over those Hollywood fucking walls like the Huns in Mulan and fucking storm the castle. And they took it. They took it by the fucking balls. Those guys made some of the best movies during that time. Whether you like their movies or not, I don't really give a fuck. I like them. And I like the fucking voices they have and the uniqueness and the quirkiness and the fucking weirdness. They just did it right. And it's just funny. Like, it's just the business has changed so much. And I think Hollywood right now is not looking for the next best director. They're looking for the next most famous person that can make them the most fucking money and hit that money button until they fucking get paid. Because they need to. It's just nature of the beast right now. And hopefully, like all things, it's a self-correcting machine and Hollywood figures out what it needs to do and has a soft landing. But I think they've really hurt themselves. It's almost like streaming seems so good, but it has just changed so much for them. And it's crazy to see. I remember when I first moved to LA, I had a movie website idea called gotothemovies.com. And like, it's funny, Netflix came out like that year. And I was just like, fuck, like, people could have paid to see it at home and we could have charged them $100 a ticket. And we'd even have them like upload their license. So, every viewer and whatever, I had a vision for it, but like, yeah, I think everybody was kind of already seeing that was where shit was going, which kind of brings me into my next point. It's funny. I've been watching a lot of horror movies and I've mentioned Eli Roth on here a few times, but like, because I've been watching so much horror, I've been kind of like revisiting some of these movies. I started, let me check out some of his press. And I guess, he's made a couple pretty big budget movies recently. He did like a Jack Black flick, The House with the Clocks on the Wall. In some of his other previous films, there's Death Wish, Knock Knock. He's done quite a few films. But he started talking about, and his most recent was Thanksgiving. So another horror film, kind of holiday horror. But he was talking on this panel about how he's created his own studio. And it's kind of like not like a crowd fund, but like you buy stock into it, whatever. And you can help finance the movie. But he was really selling it as like, hey, like, look, like, you can do this or not. We don't really care. But his point of why he wanted to do it was more so that like studios, like, I'm sure Eli Roth can get a job, but he can't get the job he wants, is what he was saying. And he's like, I can't even like, he's like, sure, I can go direct another Borderlands or like a tentpole movie or like some big IP. But he's like, I really just want to get back to making like my $2 to $5 million horror movies. He's like, those are the movies I not only am known for, I made the most money on, and I really want to make. And I think he's not getting, that's not getting through to Hollywood. That's kind of what he was saying. And he's like, it's not like they don't want to work with me. He's like, it's just they don't want to work on the shit I want to work on. And he's saying how he's got this new thing. It's called the horror section. And he's going to have you like I said, you can buy into it if you want. But I think more so he's just trying to crowdfund these movies, and 2 or 3 million for him. Maybe he's got enough fans to do it, so it's not hard. But so he can just make what he wants. But he talked a lot about ownership, like retaining the rights, how he can self-distribute in theaters and just VOD sells, online. And if you can do that and own the movie virtually outright, have the IP, put it into theaters yourself and monetize it yourself through distribution, why would you need a studio once again at this point? And he kind of said the same thing. He also talked about marketing. If marketing, you need to pay, like, I guess the MPAA to rate your movie to even get onto a television for marketing. He's like, it's like $25,000 just to have the movie rated. He's like, fuck it. Unrated. Release it yourself. Put it in the theaters as an unrated movie. You could virtually just not ever need a studio again, collect all the profit and not have to worry about it. He also mentioned that, like, he's like, there's some movies where he's like, they would pay me 3 years later. What takes 3 years on a movie to pay somebody, There's a lot of ethics in Hollywood too, and there's Hollywood accounting. We can go on all that shit, but like, I'm not here to fucking, it's all conjecture. I'm not here to fucking bash on Hollywood accounting. I'm here to just say that if you really want to make a living doing this, which is kind of like my goal, is to be able to make a couple movies a year, at least one, and make the type of movies I want to make with the people I want to make them with, and distribute them and market them. And if people like them, I think the authenticity and truth will come to the surface. If people don't like them, then they fucking, I'll know. But I think, if you're just trying to do this as a living, outside of your regular job or whatever you're doing, you need to really have a plan. And I think the new plan for Hollywood is to say, fuck the studios for now. And if they want us, come knock on the door. But in the meantime, it's just, self-create, self-distribute, be self-made, and make sure you get paid first, because that's the future. That I think if you've got something good and they want it, they're going to fucking let you know. And that's when you have room to fucking negotiate. You don't have to fucking bend the knee to the Hollywood crown. You can set your terms, because if they're coming to you, they want what you've got, and they know that you've got something special, or that you are talented and that you are good. And that's one thing, make them come to you to some extent. You don't want to kiss anybody's ass in life, or, you gotta have the self-respect to know if you're good and your value and your worth. But anyways, yeah, that was just something I even just hearing him say it just made me realize that, like, Hollywood has changed. The rules are different. It's anyone's game right now. I think it's an interesting time too. I think Hollywood's kind of in a little bit of a limbo. They don't really know what to do right now. And that's almost a great thing for indie filmmakers, because it's your time. The lane is wide open. It's anyone's game. So if you really want to make this shit happen, I say, I'm hearing it from the top down, go out, get your crew, get your script, and fucking do the shit on your own. Because that's going to be how it gets done these days. So don't let time go by. Just fucking don't wait. Just go out, do it, and make some magic happen. Anyways, guys, I loved everything I said. Hopefully you liked it too. This is another episode of Unscripted with Devin Thomas. I'll talk to all of you guys next week. Peace.